Hey everyone, today I'm here to talk about the third book in the Goosebumps Hall of Horror series, The Five Masks of Dr. Scream. So this book takes place on Halloween, and our two main characters, Monica and Peter, they go trick-or-treating, and it starts out like a normal night of trick-or-treating, and they come across this old, creepy house, and they knock on the door and, ask for candy or whatever, and this weird lady answers the door. Her name is Bella, and she manages to kind of lure them inside, and the kids go into her house, and then she starts saying things to the kids like, "Oh, I'm so glad you're here. I've been waiting for you all night. I need your help. I'm desperate." And the kids, of course, are kind of weirded out. They think this old lady is, crazy, and they're wondering what the heck is going on. And then Bella, she shows them this book that has their names written in it, and it says that they were going to come to her house tonight and help her. So this book has kind of like predicted the future, and she shows them this book, and then Monica and Peter become even more weirded out, and they're wondering what the heck is going on. They think it's like a prank or something right away. But Bella explains to them that she has these five masks that every Halloween, this evil sorcerer named Scream comes and steals from her and hides them. And every year, she has to have other kids come and help her find them and get them back. Otherwise, this evil sorcerer guy, Scream, will, I don't even know, his evil will like take over the town or something, or his power is, I don't know, it's not really fully explained. It's kind of crazy, but yeah, it's something along those lines. So she has to have these kids every Halloween help her, and Monica and Peter just so happen to be the kids this year. And this is something that's been going on for like 100 years within the book. It happens every Halloween. And of course, this idea seems really crazy right away. I was kind of having mixed feelings when I first read that. I'm like, what the heck is this about? And then there's even moments in here where the kids, of course, too, like, doesn't make any sense. This story that she's telling us is just completely bonkers, and it kind of made me laugh a little bit because R.L. Stine, I think, was kind of poking fun at his own idea a little bit, like making light of it. So I was able to enjoy it a little bit more. But I also did appreciate like how creative the idea is. This story that she's telling the kids, it's just a really like unique, creative idea, and I was willing to suspend my disbelief a little bit and just kind of go along for the ride and see how things played out. So after explaining to the kids that she needs their help to find these five masks, the kids, of course, they don't want anything to do with it right away, so they leave and they try to go back home. Only when they leave Bella's house and go back to their neighborhood and try to go back home, everything's changed. Their house isn't there anymore, and of course they start freaking out. And then they go back to see Bella, and she tells them that Dr. Scream's evil is already kind of taking over, and the only way to turn things back to normal is they have to go and find these five masks and return them to Bella, and then things will be back to normal and everything will be okay again. So throughout the book, Monica and Peter, they go on this journey to find these five different Halloween masks, and that's the majority of the book, is them going on this little adventure and trying to find all these masks. And I will say that I had a really fun time reading this book. I thought it was I really like the premise to this one, even though the whole story with the masks and everything and the evil sorcerer, and I think Bella too is like kind of like a witch or something, even though it's not really fully explained and there's not a lot of logic backing up this idea, I just liked it for how creative and different it is, and it was just a lot of fun. um Oftentimes with Goosebumps books, I'm only willing to suspend my disbelief to a certain extent, and usually when there's a lot of plot holes, it just kind of bothers me and I can't enjoy it as much. But here, just because the idea was so creative and just so much fun, I was willing to kind of put some of those things aside and just enjoy this book, and I did for the most part. So as they go through and look for these different masks that are hidden throughout the town, I don't want to spoil anything, but just for the sake of it, I'm going to call these challenges. Every time one of the kids finds a mask, they have to go through kind of this challenge in order to get the mask. So every mask presents like this series of events that's kind of suspenseful or life-threatening or whatever. And then eventually when they find all the masks, they have to go back and see Bella. And then, of course, as per usual with Goosebumps books, there's always a couple of twists there at the end that kind of turn things around. And One of the twists was very predictable. I did see coming. And then the last couple final twists in this book, like right on the last chapter, last couple pages or whatever, I didn't see them coming, but I didn't really understand them, if that makes sense. So I will say I did really enjoy this book. I thought it was a lot of fun. I liked reading about the adventure the kids went on. I liked the whole premise of this book, the idea, the story, even though it's really crazy and it isn't never fully explained, which is, I'll get to that in a moment. But it was just a lot of fun. I really enjoyed reading this Goosebumps book. I actually got drawn into the story here, which doesn't happen too often anymore with Goosebumps books, where I feel like I actually get immersed in the story. But I kind of did with this one, just because of how it was just really compelling to me. I really enjoyed it. So yeah. But one of the main issues I had with it is some of the events that the kids go through when they find the masks. Because there's 5 different masks, they're jumping around a lot, and they don't always spend very much time with each one. Like, they tend to find them kind of quickly, and then even though they're going through some difficulty to get the mask, it doesn't necessarily feel very dangerous or suspenseful, because then it's over quick and then they're on looking for the next one. So I wonder if maybe this book would have benefited if it had only been 3 masks instead of 5, and we could have spent more time with them trying to find, 3 masks instead. And I don't know. That's just something I thought about. My other big issue with this book is, like I said, those last couple twists we get at the end, they're not bad, but they just don't make much sense to me. So already the story is a little bit flawed. Like I said, the idea is not fully explained with this whole legend of the masks having to be hidden every Halloween, and there's really no explanation as to the origins of like the sorcerer and stuff and how everything came to be. And so when we get to the end, things aren't really resolved. The final twist endings don't seem to really tie into the story, at least not that I could find. I actually kind of went through and was skimming through this a little bit again and read the ending a second time to see if I could understand things a little bit better, and I really didn't. So that's really my biggest complaint with this book, aside from some of those events feeling a little bit too quick and not very impactful, is the story is just a little bit confusing. It creates this really unique, kind of complex idea, but just doesn't have like good explanations to back everything up. So yeah, that's really my my biggest problem with this book. It kind of hampered the effect of it for me a little bit. It just wasn't quite as enjoyable because of that. The ending wasn't necessarily bad. It just was a little bit confusing. I don't understand. There's so many things that just don't get explained, and that's kind of what bugs me about it. But aside from those, I think this was a really good book. I was really surprised at how much I enjoyed this one. One thing I will mention too, I forgot to say, is this is labeled a special edition. Really the only thing that's different about it from the other Hall of Horrors books, though, is it's a little bit longer, and I guess that's why they decided to call it a special edition. This one is 170 pages, whereas the other ones are around 130 pages. So this one's just a little bit longer. But yeah, guys, I think that's about all I have to say for this one. Really fun book. Really like the idea behind it. I just feel like it didn't reach its full potential. I feel like the execution could have been a little bit better. And for that, I'm going to give this book probably a 3.5, rounded up to 4 stars. So yeah, guys, this was a really good book. It just not as quite as good as I feel like it could have been. So yeah, if you're looking to try out a Goosebumps Hall of Horror series, maybe give this one a read. I really enjoyed it. I'm halfway through my Hall of Horrors read through right now, and once I'm done, I'm going to do a ranking video for you guys. So yeah, thanks for watching.